Now, we go to Independence and the annual parade. This year, the president's message was focused on the need for us to keep together as a country, and more importantly, in the wake of the difficulties that the economy is being bedeviled with, we should make every day a Made in Ghana day. The Christian Council issued a statement and asked us to build a culture of conscience for national development. The Christian Council wants us to check the era where you have this party insulting the other and everybody else trying to pull the other party down because their program is not what they would have pursued. Professor Kosa, you know him. He said Ghanaians stopped thinking after Nkrumah's overthrow and had a lot of issues, very hard, criticism of how far we have come so far. On this note, I'll start with you, Abdul Malik, and we're going to do very briefly. Right, we're going to do very briefly. Let's hear the president quickly on a bit of what he had to say.
Just as we purchase products that are proudly Italian, proudly Chinese, proudly Turkish, or proudly South African, there is no reason why we cannot manufacture goods that are proudly Ghanaian. If we are to be truly independent, we cannot allow our destiny to be determined by corporations, industries, or individuals who exist beyond our national borders. And that is precisely what we are doing when the majority of what we consume comes from outside.
I'm told I was accused of having stolen somebody's idea.
All right, the very last one. Forgive us, that was a wrong one there. Now, Abdul Malik, I start with you on this. And before we started the show, myself and Mr. Aga were having a discussion about this sort of general attitude where everyone else is asking the question, so what is there to celebrate at 57? That's cynicism. Where is it coming from? And is it real? Is it true that Ghana has not made progress since 57?
Oh, that cannot be true. We've survived as a nation. We haven't torn ourselves apart. We've kept our political sovereignty. We haven't, of course, achieved economic independence. We've kept the unitary character of the state. We became a republic in 1960 that is full political sovereignty. The problem has been with the economy, where how far could have done better. No doubt about that. But this country has not suffered a civil war. The state has not collapsed. We have had about 22 years of uninterrupted democratic development. And that's a foundation to build on. So I'm a proud Ghanaian today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I think we lost nothing as such. There are greater opportunities out there for us to deal with. But of course, there have been challenges, difficulties, and that's part of the problem. Today, I'm just going to focus on the point about buy Ghana goods made in Ghana, that focus, which has been a recurrent...
Do that in 3 minutes, maximum.
Well, I hope I could. I will read just something and then make a conclusion. This is Daily Graphic, February 7th, 1962. It is headline, let's boost up made in Ghana goods. Krobodi say. And I'll read portions. He says, Industries Minister Krobodi said last night invited members of the Ghana National Assembly, that is 6th February, on the floor of the House, to lead the crusade for placing Ghana on the industrial map of the world by buying goods made and processed in Ghana. He made appeals to workers, to storekeepers, and to all Ghanaians. Now listen to the one to the manufacturers. He says to the manufacturers, keep prices low and quality high. Make maximum use of Ghanaian raw materials and Ghanaian managerial talent, and label your products distinctly for all to see that they are made in Ghana. To all Ghanaians, buy Ghana goods now for quality, quantity, employment, and prosperity. Already, that's I'm reading, Mr. Krobodi said that he had installed in his ministry a small permanent exhibition which provided principally for visitors an opportunity to see the development of industries in Ghana, what has been achieved, what is being done, and what will be achieved in the immediate future. Already, he said Ghana produced many things which could be sold cheaper and could become popular with the consumers, but for the brand consciousness of buyers and propaganda of manufacturers and importers of overseas rival products. To be able to launch Ghana goods and sell them at competitive prices, and also to popularize them with Ghanaian consumers, Mr. Edusei suggested that Ghanaians must make a point of presenting the homemade products whenever the state entertained or received visitors. He suggested that Ghanaian ambassadors should serve Ghanaian drinks in their embassies and decorate their rooms with articles manufactured from Ghana. Mr. Edusei invited the MPs to suggest appropriate names for the drinks being manufactured by the Ghana distillery, as the present names do not reflect their Ghanaian origins. He said he had plans to check dumping of overseas goods on the Ghana market. He would also not allow Ghanaian manufacturers to maintain artificially high prices due to the inefficient running of them. Last paragraph, please. He warned that manufacturers should in future label their products with appropriate made in Ghana labels if they were manufactured in Ghana. Goods made in Ghana, he warned, must be of high quality.
And this was 1962.
6th February, he said this on the floor of Parliament.
52 years.
52 long years. We're still saying the same thing. Where is the deficit? The reality, the gap between action and objective. What do we say, but how do we go about it?
So those who have written the country often say leadership has been poor, visionless, and so on are right. Because we are not getting it right.
They have a point, but I don't think it's an absolute. Otherwise, we will not be where we are, as I paint the picture I painted initially. Other countries have collapsed. Other states have collapsed. Some have gone to civil wars. Some are today still struggling with even the democratic dispensation. So it is a mixture of pluses and minuses.
Some have managed to hold the rains back and do the activities before the rain will fall.
Yes. So
we go and sit in the rain.
I have not sought to paint a rosy picture and to suggest that we are a success story, but I think we are not a failure as such.
Okay.
That's my own candid opinion.
Mr. Yaga.
Yeah, I actually came here today just because of this topic. Unfortunately, you're not allowing enough time for us to discuss it. Because over the years, at anniversary celebrations and all the media deliberations that accompany these anniversary celebrations, you hear people discuss Ghana. And when you step outside your house, you don't see the same Ghana that they are discussing on radio. And you're wondering, is it that some people just excite themselves to be cynical about the country, or are they being real? I mean, you talk about even buy made in Ghana goods, and you refer us back to 62. Today, in America, there are debates there about Americans buying made in America goods relative to Chinese-made goods in America.
Sure.
In America. Today, Europeans and others are struggling to ensure that their goods have access to foreign markets, and that in their own market, that they protect their goods. So it is a global struggle that is going on. Both advanced countries and developing countries, manufacturing countries and importing countries are all struggling for space for even their basic manufactures. So the fact that that struggle is also going on here doesn't mean that we have totally failed. Yes, it is true that we haven't been able to expand our manufacturing base over the years. That's work that we all need to do. That's real. But it doesn't mean that Ghana is a failed state. If you look across all sectors, you can see a country that has made so much progress. If you look at education, today, you look at the population of about 25 million, and if you look at the children, about 90% or 99% are enrolled in basic schools. Many people have access to secondary education. Many have had access to tertiary education. So many universities have been constructed, public and private, offering diverse courses. Courses that in the past you had to go abroad to go and have access. Today, you can have access to all of them in this country.
The concern is the end product.
The quality is still good.
Compared to those
the quality is even abroad, they also have issues with the quality of education. There are some universities in America, if you give somebody free admission into with scholarship, they won't go, because even there, they have issues with the quality. So you have high end, you have medium, and then you have low end. Is that okay?
That's
yes. So the point that I'm making is that we could do better if you compare us with some other countries, such as Malaysia and the Asian Tigers and etc. There you can see the deficiencies, the failure of our country. But it doesn't mean that what we have done should not be appreciated by Ghanaians. So let's appreciate what we have done, but let's have higher aspirations, and let's galvanize ourselves and work towards those higher aspirations. But to just give an impression that there's nothing to celebrate and this country hasn't made any progress is totally not an accurate reflection of where we are at. Look across. If we are talking about transport infrastructure, it has expanded. Maybe we could have done better, but it has expanded. If you look at telecommunication, it has expanded. If you look at housing, it has expanded. Look at every sector of our society, it has expanded. Look at the media, it has expanded. Is that okay? Look at technology, everything has expanded in this country. And whatever you can get in any part of the world, you can get it here also in Ghana. Of course, the economies are different, income levels may differ, but we have made progress as a country, and there is cause to celebrate the progress that we have made. But I believe that we could do better. We could build stronger institutions. Our governments could be more responsive to the needs of the citizenry. Our markets could be more efficient. Our traditional authorities could manage land better, and our developments could be more even. All that, I have no doubt, we can do better. And that is what we should be aspiring to. And that is what our leaders are mobilizing all of us to do.
How can we end the rhetoric?
It's not just rhetoric. I mean...
No, our leaders sincerely want to galvanize us into doing it.
Yes.
But how do you get the people to do it so that we don't end up in the next decade quoting what the president said and not knowing what effect it has had?
Well, first you have to build strong institutions, good institutions. Is that okay? And those institutions have to develop very good systems. And I think that, of course, the systems will cut out corruption. The system, if they are good, will deal with waste. And the systems, if they are good, will tap into innovation. Is that okay? And mobilize available resources and channel it in the right direction for us to make progress as a people, as a collective. So that is possible, but we need to work together and not overly politicize everything. Not overly politicize everything.
How do you, Ms. Osu, how do you speak to people who are so pessimistic and don't want to hear all these assurances about, and even when government rolls out a policy, they can't seem to want to buy into it, as if we have become a nation where not too many of us want to be patriotic, have a sense of belonging and ownership of the country. Just yesterday, we were told that we are going to have a new rent law. The policy is being looked at, which is going to have a rental being only for 1 month. The pessimism is that, where is this one coming from? And I have joined that, and I'm like, we have one that says the maximum is 6 months. Yes, the maximum is 6 months. We have not been able to enforce that.
For 3 months.
Yes, we have not been able to enforce that, and we are bringing it down to 1 month.
That's exactly where I'm coming to. We should bridge the gap between what we say and what we do. The major weakness of our system is our unwillingness, and I use unwillingness, to implement the policies we set up, the laws we pass. And I'll just set out some things. Ghana, I agree with all that we have done well for ourselves, but we can do a lot better than we have done. Those are called regretables. Weak institutions have been mentioned. Lawlessness as a result of our unwillingness to enforce the laws we pass. Look around you. Galamsey is killing us because of lawlessness. Driver misconduct, all around us. Because the laws are there to protect us. Our environment being destroyed because of lawlessness. But there's one thing. I believe the reason lawlessness is on the rise is because there's lack of political cooperation and negotiation at the very top. In Parliament, there's a lot of discussion every day. Leadership discuss, they agree, and we do it. Outside Parliament, there's none. To me, it is totally unacceptable that at the highest political party level, the chairman and their groups are not meeting regularly. The president and his opponent, even if the campaign was bitter, we should be negotiating certain things which we should not compromise on. Even now, what we call the National Development Agenda, what is it? You come, you change it. I come, I change it. But I think we should have a negotiated agenda which all parties buy into. The implementation variations may come, but if you plan it alone, I'll have reason not to follow it. If I plan it alone, you have a reason not to follow it. But if we negotiate, we may not agree. That's the reason why we are in different parties.
Right.
But we can negotiate things which all believe will work.
Right.
Once we have that, I think we'll work. So between the policy and the implementation, the major challenge is the institutions. That gap is being exploited by civil servants, and then politicians are taking the blame.
Right.
They are making the money, and politicians are taking the blame. From procurement to implementation, how many politicians are involved?
You're right. You're right. Ebi, 2 minutes on the independence, and the question
Sometimes,
is, what is the relevance of the ritual? Every year, go to stand at the parade.
Oh, the fact that I'm no more considered as a second-rated person in Ghana, is for me, it's okay. You see, sometimes I feel we are too hard on ourselves as a people. When I hear people talk as if Ghana is a banana state and nothing is working, and that is not the case. Why? Is it not the same country that produced and gave to the world free of charge a Kofi Annan? Is it not the same country that produced the late Kwame Dumont and gave it to the BBC, and he competed favorably amongst his peers there? So we haven't, as it were, failed. The biggest room.
Those examples are examples that can be looked at into detail. They are different subjects on their own.
No, you are talking about the nation.
I know that.
Has it produced what we expect?
I know that.
Yes.
But
So,
I'm saying when we want to look at their backgrounds and what they had to go through, the investments that their parents had to make into their education and everything, it might not be, it's not that easy for the nation to take all the praise for itself. You can be proud of them. That's it.
There are equally good examples we can mention.
Right.
The point is that I agree that the biggest room in this world is a room of improvement. And so we can always call for some improvement. But to lam everything up and come to a conclusion which is not supported by the evidence that Ghana has failed, I disagree. And I beg to disagree.
Or that we are stagnating.
And I want to say that this country may not be at where it is, but again, we can look back and see some people behind us, and that is where we should take our inspirations from.
The Krovaduse thing
Right.
indicates something. We failed to deal with our manufacturing and industrial base.
Thank you.
We failed to do that.
Thank you. Sam Winnie from Kaleo in the Upper West region says Ghana is 57 years, 3 more years to go on compulsory retirement. What can we boast of as a country? High rate of graduate unemployment, blah, blah. Thank you very much for all of your messages and your texts that came in. You have been watching and listening to Newsfile, coming to you from the Joy News channel. This is the multi-TV studios. We have been on Joy 99.7 FM and over a dozen affiliate stations across the country. My guests have been Abdul Malik Kwekubako Jr., Editor-in-Chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper, Mahama Ayarga, Minister, Information Media Relations, MP, lawyer, and then Joe Osei Wusu. He's also MP and a lawyer. Of course, at a point in time, he was very much associated with driving. the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, and Abraham Amalba. He is with the NDC legal team and is a lecturer. I am Samson Ladi Ayenini. This show was brought to you by the kind sponsorship of Lipton Tea, inspiration flowing from nature, Star Assurance, and Errata Motors. And of course, I need to make this quickly. Latida wants you to know that they have the best for you in the 2014 year. So get on board and get involved with Latida. They have tailor-made designs to meet your budget, lifestyle, and age. They treat every client as an individual. They listen to your requirements and recommend the best style to meet your fashion needs. They are 2014 floral designs for men, ladies, and kids are out and selling very fast. So get in touch with them. Affordability and quality is their hallmark. Their contact numbers are 0265 650 918 or 0204 336 444. Mr. Osei is writing the number down. I'll give it to you personally. You can write it here. Yes, what were you going to say?
If you will indulge me.
Yeah.
My local football team, Boku Wonderful Stars FC, will be playing this afternoon.
Oh, that's great. Okay, they have my support. The show was brought to you, was produced by Sedem Ofori, supported by Nicholas Opoku, Samuel Odame, Emmanuel Ante, and Yaya Abubakar. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. The news is up next.
Sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know. I get a good feeling.